So before we dive too deep into the how and the why and the setup and everything else for your Amazon ads, let's talk real quick about questions you can ask yourself to know if Amazon ads are right for you. I am a huge fan of Amazon ads. I know absolutely, hands down, they have played a very pivotal role in helping me find my success as a six-figure novelist and to earn a living from writing my fiction. But there's also going to be some people who are not going to be as in love with Amazon ads as I am. Totally fine. What I'm hoping is that even if you end up not being as enthusiastic about Amazon ads as I am, that you'll still see where and how they can work for you. Even if that's in tandem with ads on other platforms, I still run BookBub ads. I still run Facebook ads. Amazon ads are part of my marketing plan, but not the entire thing. And that's a good thing to keep in mind. I don't recommend that you rely exclusively on one marketing platform only because things can change, right? So if your only platform that you're ever advertising on is Amazon ads, and then something weird happens and your ads stop performing well, or you lose access to your account, or who knows, what might be coming around the corner in the future with changes to Amazon ads or anything. That way your eggs aren't all in one basket, right? So I definitely recommend that even if you're already established on some of the other ad platforms, that you make space for Amazon within yours. But I also want to encourage you, learn one ads platform well first and then learn another. So don't feel like you need to start all at the same time learning Facebook ads and Amazon ads and all these other ads all at one point. So again, the goal is to be having you not only learn Amazon ads, but to be running ads in other areas as well. But the way to get there is to focus on one thing at a time. Don't worry about it. The really nice thing about Amazon ads is it is not a time consuming platform. I would say out of the three major platforms, BookBub, Facebook, and Amazon is probably the quickest to get started on. A lot of that is because we don't have to make our own graphics. That was a huge thing for me with Amazon ads because I didn't like the idea of learning Photoshop. I don't love being in Canva or things like that. So the fact that I didn't have to make graphics for Amazon ads is one of the major reasons why I chose to start with Amazon ads. So what I want to do is I want to throw out some questions for you to ask yourself to just make sure that the Amazon ads dashboard and that platform is a good platform for you. All right. So a big one is if you're in KU or if you're wide, either one, I think definitely it's good to be advertising on Amazon. I would say, especially if you're in KU, having that extra visibility on Amazon is going to be great. I am wide and still spend a lot of my time and energy on my Amazon ads. So it's great for either platform, but I would say that if you are in KU, it's even more of an incentive for you to get on to Amazon ads and to really learn that dashboard and the platform well. Another question to ask yourself is, do you have a series or just standalones? And it's going to be the exact same thing as what we talked about with wide or KU, where if you have standalones or if you have a series, both can do really well with Amazon ads. But again, if you've got a series, you have even more room to learn the platform because you're making more money back through series read through. So it's in almost every case easier to make a bigger profit if you've got a series. So that's another question to ask yourself. I'm not the type of author who says you need to have a certain number of books out before you should market at all. A ton of that is just your own personal preference, how much budget you have to work with. There's lots of factors involved. But I would say that especially if you've got a series and a series that sells well, so that lots of people go from book 1 to book 2 and then on, then it's going to be a great opportunity for you to advertise that whole series on Amazon. Here's another question that I think is pretty important to ask yourself, and that is do you hate Amazon? All right, there are lots of consumers and there are lots of authors who do not like or trust Amazon for lots of reasons. And if you have not made your peace with Amazon, or if there's part of you that conscientiously doesn't like supporting a business like Amazon, it's definitely worth doing a tiny bit of introspection to make sure that you do want to go forward, right? Can you see how there would be a disconnect if you feel like Amazon is the most evil corporation in the world and you're selling your books on Amazon? And not only that, but you're giving Amazon advertising money so they can sell your books. That's going to be a hard thing. So it's just a question to ask. There's not a right or wrong answer. I do know of authors who have deliberately chosen not to advertise on Amazon for reasons of conscience, and that's your absolute prerogative. But if you're kind of wrestling with that, I encourage you to try to make your peace with Amazon and make your peace with the kind of the notion that Amazon ads aren't going anywhere. And this is a way that you can make money and gain visibility on that platform if you're comfortable doing so. I don't encourage you to dive in to Amazon ads if the whole time you hate the fact that you're paying Amazon not only to sell your books, but to get your books in front of the right people. Another question that's important to think about before you dive into any of the paid ad platforms is just what's your own personal risk tolerance. And the great thing with Amazon ads is you're going to see pretty quickly if you are losing money, and it's going to be not too hard to shut your ads down. So as long as you can afford to lose like $10 or $20, you don't have to lose any more in kind of the testing stage of things. Okay, so in terms of risk tolerance, yeah, you're putting money out there, but it's very, very easy to set super low budgets, like $2 or $3 a day. There's also ways that you can set spending limits, so you're not going to spend beyond this much a month. And it's really, really easy to go in and pause ads if they're not working out for you. Okay, but I do want to encourage you to just ask yourself, are you comfortable with putting some money out there? Doesn't have to be a big amount. You could totally take all the information that we're going to be throwing out at you, and you could spend $25 this month. And that's going to give you enough to know if Amazon ads are going to work really well for you or not. It's even going to be enough for you to learn the platform so you can get over the learning curve. So it's not a huge risk starting out, but it is a scary step. I want to encourage you, if you are feeling nervous about diving deeper into Amazon ads, it does not need to be as scary as you're probably making it out to be. And a few of those reasons are what we just talked about. You can set super small budgets, you can set spending limits, you can turn off ads if they're not performing. But you do need to just make sure that you've got, not only that little bit of budget, let's call it $25 at the very minimum, and also that you've got just kind of the risk tolerance that this isn't going to make you really, really, really stressed diving into this. And this is going to be one of my major goals, is to walk you through step by step by step so that you're not feeling scared or like you're taking humongous risks. The great news is, like, nobody's asking you to spend $1,000 in day one or anything like that. And then another question is just, are your books ready to be marketed? So by that, I mean, they should have a great cover, a great blurb. I encourage you to have at least some amount of traction. So you've gotten some sales, you've gotten some positive reviews. All the information that we're going to be talking about with Amazon ads are things that you could have published your very first book today and jump into. But in general, I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you've got a book that can sell before you start paying money to send people to the sales page. So again, great cover, decent reviews, and a really good blurb. Those things are going to be very, very key, because everything I show you about setting up Amazon ads, it's going to have one goal, and that is to get people to click on your sales page. Okay, that's an important distinction. The goal of Amazon ads is not to sell a book. It is to get people to click on the sales page. And then it's the job of the sales page to actually sell the book. All right, so that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes people, if they see that they're losing money on ads, they think that they created the wrong kind of ad or they did something wrong setting up their ads. But a lot of times the ads are doing exactly what they're meant to do, which is send people to your sales page. But then if people aren't buying, then you might want to look at your cover, your blurb, things like that. There's one last thing I want to share, and that is that Amazon ads do work better for certain genres, and there are some genres that historically have a difficult time getting past the Amazon ad flagging system. So if you're super, super steamy, there are certain names in your title or subtitle that might get you flagged. Alpha is a keyword that I know that can get people not banned from using ads, but get their ad for that specific book not approved. RH is another genre that seems to have a hard time getting some of their titles approved. And so that's something that it's important for you to know going forward. If you're in one of the steamier genres, if you've got alpha in your title, if you're doing RH, reverse harem, there are certain times that Amazon is going to be pickier about flagging your books. If that's the case, what I recommend is that you definitely learn the things in Amazon ads, but try a couple ads out at first and see if they get past the review flagging team. And if they don't totally give up on ads, because there is a lot of subjectivity. So maybe give it a few weeks, try again. But I do want you to know going forward, there are a couple genres that have a harder time getting their books past the review process. So those are the important things to keep in mind going forward. And so now we get to dive into the really fun kinds of things, which will be setting up your ads and getting introduced to everything you can do with Amazon ads.